Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Week 2 continues now with our third match of the night. We had a really entertaining first one, a really interesting second one. I feel like it's only appropriate that we round out the third with a close as hell game. How's that sound, Hunted?
Hey, I'm all about it. Certainly would love to see, I'd love to see a series go the distance, or at least go to 4 games. We haven't seen one of those yet today.
Yeah, and Butler versus Connecticut, two what I would say mid-table teams right now. Looking at their results previously, they were strong, but again, we need a statement from both of these guys, especially considering their previous performance here at EGF. It's been middling, similar to Maris, but Maris has come back swinging. So far in this season, they look a lot more powered up, even with the same roster. You can tell they've been practicing. It's the same exact thing that we want out of all of the kind of EGF Classic teams. RIT, Delaware even, both look significantly leveled up. UConn and Butler, same exact deal. We need to see improvement from these guys, and I'm ready for it, Hunted, right? I know what these guys have looked like before. I know their tendencies from the previous season, and I want to see the improvements, especially on their defensive sides and building that ball out of the midfield.
Well, we are about ready to go. Looks like the teams are joining up now. We'll get game number 1 underway. Butler coming into this one with a win under their belt. They 3-1 Marquette last week. And Connecticut coming off a close loss against Xavier. 3-2 was that one. So, again, we got a team with a win, a team with a loss. Battling it out here week number 2. We'll see if we have 3 2-0 teams today on the broadcast here, Dor, as I think Connecticut would certainly love to shut that one down if possible. They are in that orange, as Butler going to be playing out of the blue side. Disaster will clear it down. Kai just going to touch it into the corner, and I definitely agree that defense is going to be a sticking point in this game. We're going to have to see which of these two teams take advantage of the midfield early. Giggy does make a quick save. The rebound gives him a bit of trouble, but Butler does clear.
Yeah, I mean, the midfield is going to become more and more important, especially considering the ping pong that we're already playing. This ball is just flying one end of the field to the other, and I'll hand it to Butler. They're playing some pretty solid defense, but there's got to be gaps here, and there's one, just unfortunately a missed shot from Disaster, living up to his namesake. Now, though, it's all up to the Butler side to actually get this ball out of their half. They've had some decent rotations here, but nothing that actually creates a passing opportunity. And a double commit up at that ball creates a very dangerous one for UConn that won't be capitalized on.
My goodness, that was a laser beam that bounced off the post. Disaster still trying to find some space. Will be played away. A minute and a half gone. Chirpa does keep it in. Disaster is going to throw that on net. Actually gives Geeky a bit of a problem there. Now Droy's in and out of the corner. This is down in front. Chirpa tries to take that one away, but Kai just there on the block. As this game starting out quite quick, but UConn has been in control for the most part. Haven't given up a shot opportunity yet to Butler. They've already put 6 on the board in their favor. Is Giggy going to try to change that statistic? There's the first one for Butler. Rebound going to come out towards Kai. Can't quite drop it home. As we approach halftime, game number 1, we are still scoreless with UConn in control.
Yeah, it's been solid control for a majority of the time. Butler, I want to talk about this lineup a little bit. Kai and Jiggy, I believe both new. Jiggy may have been around last season, but one name specifically stands out to me on this roster. Sir Aaron, really, really solid center to this team, and it's one of the reasons why their rotations have been so solid and been able to hold up to the test of time that UConn are really throwing at them. A lot of that, I know for a fact, is led by Sir Aaron, captain of the team, been holding it down for a long, long time here, Hunted. And for UConn, again, not too many familiar names, so there's definitely room for them to make a name for themselves. The pressure has looked good, but Butler doing a great job of holding up to all this.
Well, you called him out as Sir Aaron now looking for some kind of rebound play. Honestly, I appreciate the fact that they have full Fortnite their car. I mean, it is a straight up Fortnite car. I appreciate that.
We just embrace our new epic overlords.
Yeah. Hey, we need to see the battle bus. I can't believe Maris didn't bring out the battle buses
I'm kind of sad
in that last series, considering. But either way, Oh, Giggy ends up getting blocked away. Kai, this is towards the back wall. Sir Aaron can't quite make that play. Droy's will cleared away. And this game has been very, very close, even though the shot totals kind of heavily favoring UConn. Butler's brought it back. They've gotten 3 on the board. They've maintained possession in this last minute or so. And they're knocking now as Kai is going to miss that one a bit wide. And it will be whichever these two teams can't quite slam the door hard enough going to drop this one. I have a feeling we're about to see a 1-0 game.
Yeah, it's definitively going to be close here, especially since UConn's had a lot less possession. I feel like Butler really... Oh, Lord! Great save by Jiggy! Just barely getting there. Good 50-50 to keep it out. You know, I was just about to mention how UConn's had less and less shots over the course of this game, but they're still making them threatening when they do happen. Butler hasn't really had a solid opportunity, although they have had a lot of possession towards the latter half of the game so far. Chirpa lays one out wide. Great catch by Kai. Lays it into the corner. He's going to get it all the way across the goal. It's going to be a challenge. No, no one's there. The challenge is there and laying it back into no man's land.
And now we're into the final 17 seconds of game 1. Disaster avoids disaster on the goal line. Just able to play that one away as now Kai will clear it. Chirpa last back, trying to kill off some more of this time. See us go into overtime. It will bounce towards the net. It's in. Nobody could make the save for UConn, and Butler walk away with game 1. No time left on the board.
There's some proverb in here about the tortoise and the hare or something. I'm pretty sure Butler have a grand total of 1 shot and 1 goal. I don't exactly have the stats on me right now, but that's what it felt like the entire time. But my God, did they make that 1 shot count? They made it 5 somewhere in and around the net of UConn, and you know what? Whatever gets them there, gets them there. Great little buzzer beater to finish things off and turn the tides against UConn.
And, you know, you saw UConn on that clear at around 7 seconds or so left. It kind of left Chirpa in a tough spot. He collected the ball, kind of went up back wall towards the corner, and that is a very difficult position to play out of because you've got incoming players. You don't want that ball to bounce down in front for an easy tap-in, but at the same time, you don't want to lose possession. I think Chirpa did all that they could, but unfortunately, the challenge just a bit too good for Butler. It leads to that opportunity, and you've got to be pretty happy with it if you're Butler, but UConn put themselves in a tough spot with no time left. You got to make sure that you play responsibly until you see that ball touch the ground with no time remaining and you head to overtime.
Yeah, and with Butler coming away with, oh, what a shot, what a challenge from Disaster, more than anything else. 100% knew where this ball was going, went up with full intention of laying it down, and does so beautifully off of Jiggy's car. That's the 1-0 lead that UConn were looking for at the beginning of the last game, too. Right, they started off with that level of pressure. They really reeled it back, though, towards the end of the game. And I think if they just keep that going, keep that momentum like they would have been able to in game 1, they could easily tie this thing up.
Oh, no, most certainly. I mean, a 1-0 game really is nothing to be scoffed at in a series like this one. These two teams so very close as now UConn looking to extend their lead. Chirpa was looking for the pre-flip. Couldn't quite do it as Kai now out of the corner. Disaster towards net. Sir Aaron just going to play this one on. Gets back to the ball. This is going to put Disaster in a tough spot. Does play it away from Kai. Gets it out of the corner as well. Now Giggy last back. Can't quite find the touch, does Kai. And this thing going to reset here a little bit at the midfield line. UConn still defending this 1-goal lead. 3:50 left to go. Plenty of time for Butler to respond. But the game slowed down a little bit. We saw a little bit more faster-paced action, a couple more opportunities in game 1. But here in game 2, the defenses are starting to push up a little bit more, play at this midfield, not really letting anything through.
Yeah, it's shifted from ping-pong to just a battle of attrition. Who can actually last longer in this series right now? Oh my God, Butler just tooth and nail for every single one of these saves. They're getting away with it though, man. I can't fault them. It's the same thing that we saw last time. Just under obscene amounts of pressure from the UConn side, but they're holding their ground until no. Joyce's got a breakaway. Kai for the save. Oh. He's there just in time. A double challenge even to win it all. Plays the ball out towards Sir Aaron, but now back into the center of the field. A big bump leaves the goal open, but Kai's there again.
And Kai coming up large. He had to go one-on-one with Droyz. Droyz was looking for that fake, didn't quite find it, and Kai clutch so far on the defensive side for Butler, but right now you don't want to be playing defense if you're the blue team. You got to find this equalizing goal. Still, they have half the game left, but Kai doing a great job of keeping them in it for right now. As Sir Aaron questionably takes this along his own back wall. Nobody going to challenge this one. Does get it back to the midfield line. Joyce will tap it in. Has Chirpa there around Gigi. Kai going to be last back. Looks for a demo. Ends up falling to Gigi. Great pass to Kai. Can he score this one? Yes, sir. Butler, they are on the comeback train, and it's 1-1.
I mean, gently up. Kai just lays the baby to rest right here. Any higher and you're going over the net. Any lower and you're going into the player. What a great little redirect there. With plenty of time left in this match, I mean, we already have a fantastic one on our hands between these two. You love seeing these really low scoring, really just large battles between teams, right? It's not about who's going to make the play first. It's about who's going to make a mistake first, leave an opening. But in those games, more often than not, it really is just all defense. You know, you'll see an own goal go in, or some team just can't take the mental pressure there. All Kai, all mechanics, all forcing the issue. And after all this time of playing defense, it's good to see a team be able to shift into an attacking mindset quickly enough and smoothly enough to pull off something like that.
Still, these teams battle at the midfield line. Disaster just trying to play this one out of harm's way. Ends up falling to the top of the box. Chirpa's there to lead Disaster on. Now the transition play comes. Back wall, quick shot.
Oh!
That one was a bit wide. Gigi ends up getting a piece of it. Troy's still there, looking for a pass down to Disaster. But here's Kai to see it out of harm's way. A minute 20 left to go. Still a 1-1 game. UConn down in the series 0-1 after a 0-second goal from Butler in that first game. The only goal of game one, as well as here comes Chirpa. Tries to find a double touch opportunity. Not quite going to be able to play that one, as now Kai over to Sir Aaron. Here comes the Butler counterattack. They've been quite quick. Good demo on Droys, opening up some space, but Kai can't get around that defender. And again, UConn's defense has been quite good.
It's been relatively untested. I mean, it has been solid for the times that we've seen it, but that's a double commit. That's a huge opening. Sir Aaron has a shot, but just wide of the net. 35 seconds left. We're still 1-goal territory. The Butler's wall of a defense right now has been the only thing keeping them alive for the time being. UConn have a pretty solid attack into the opposing half. Looks for a pinch down to center, but Sir Aaron knows better. Is going to make that stop. 20 now ticking down on the clock as we might see another one go down to 0 seconds.
I'm not sure if Droys really knew how open the net was. Nobody was really back for Butler. He played it a little bit too far for himself. Couldn't quite get the play out in front. But time is ticking down now. 1-1 on the board. That will be the ball grounded into the turf. And we have OT game 2. We missed it in game 1. It almost looked for certain like we would find it, but I'm so excited for this one as UConn look to try to equalize the series. Butler wanting to go up on match point if possible. This is going to fall down. Sir Aaron backing all the way up, waiting for a touch. Kai's going to rotate forward. Disaster along the near post. He's got the clear. Now into the corner. They battle it out. This is going to bounce out in front. Good pass out, but Chirpa going to allow Droys to play that one. And still the attack looks to continue, but momentum fading a bit here as Sir Aaron does have to make the save on the goal line. Disaster wants to keep it moving, but unfortunately everybody just not quite in position right now for UConn.
Butler have done a fantastic job under all that pressure. They maintained their boost. They didn't get starved out. They were controlling the midfield, building their way out while they were under pressure. So they had the kind of boost in their tank to go for a recontest like that, to try and take it into the opponent's half. Wasn't successful. They're still under pressure now. It's UConn back in dangerous blue territory.
Here comes Kai. Oh, he didn't quite get the flip reset. That'll be a clear for Droys. Diggy on the touch. Disaster has to play it around as we are still in OT game 2. Diggy now, corner. Has Kai lurking through midfield. Won't quite need him as Droys is going to take this away. Sir Aaron on the miss. Now Kai just battling it back into the corner. Butler trying to maintain possession. They've played well at the midfield line through this overtime. There's an opportunity for Gigi. It's towards the net, but Chirpa there on the save. Still a little bit of scramble here on the UConn side. Good clear there from Disaster, but it only goes as far as Gigi. And again, Butler hemming the UConn team in their own zone. You have a feeling it's going to break any moment. Something's got to give as Sherpa, does he have the clear? He's got a lot of space. Should be able to find a little bit of time and a bit of some breathing room here for his team.
I mean, this is just as tense as the rest of the match was. Kai up to another challenge. That demolition's going to be a lot for him, though. Getting rid of this pressure. Oh, Jiggy's got to be careful here. Saren's there for the challenge. It waterfalls down. There's no one there for the touch, though, because of that demolition earlier. The nerves are getting to Butler right now. This is a lot of double commits from them. They're scrambling to get this ball out of their half, and they need to relax right now because UConn are creating some dangerous opportunities. One here. Up and over goes Chirpa, lays the ball in, has the angle, but Kai's there just to knock it out. Yeah,
Kai needed that touch. It looked like Chirpa was there for that double. He ends up playing it back in as we are over a game and a half of Rocket League. In game number 2, Droys actually plays this one into Disaster. Sir Aaron gets it back to the midfield line, grabs Booch. Now an opportunity. Plays that one by Chirpa, falls right onto Droys. Kai waiting for it at the midfield line, will play it in. Oh, double commit out of the corner, could be dangerous. But Droys does get back to it. That looks like a big mistake there from UConn. They haven't quite been punished for it, and that will find its way all the way back. As again, Kai sealing down, double touch, Kai off the post! Butler nearly made it a 2-0 series, but the post comes up big.
Oh my, this is the longest overtime that we've seen this season yet, and it's just as insane as we thought it'd be. Right now, though, we saw Butler get a little bit scrappy in their own defensive side. UConn, though, I'm seeing holes in the defense. I'm seeing holes in the rotation. There's a lot of openings here that Butler can exploit. You can tell both these teams are getting a little bit sloppy as the nerves get high and the tensions rise. It's Butler playing heavy in the midfield to try and control this ball, putting heavy pressure onto the UConn half. The ball up. Sararin there for a shot. Lays it in close shot, but Chirpa makes a save.
And Chirpa's been big on the backside for them. He's had to cover up a lot of tough plays. Droy's open net. It's in. Nobody there for Butler. UConn ties the series just like that.
And Kai had a big choice to make here, right? Go up for the ball or go for the challenge on the net. And unfortunately, the miscommunication is there. And you feel like it had to be breaking down for Butler. Huge props to UConn there, though. I mean, holding it together is not an easy task.
All of that battle, all of the back and forth, the defenses look so good. Everybody making sure they stayed in rhythm on the rotation. And then all of a sudden, a relatively harmless break-in from Droys just turns into the game-winning goal. Nobody home for Butler, and it didn't even look like they got caught in transition. I mean, typically I feel like I have a pretty good eye for that when that happens, but it surprised me that there was nobody on the goal line.
I mean, they had 2 people back. No wonder it's a surprise, right? I think both of them ended up going for a corner boost. Kai, again, had the awkward situation of, do I go to goal? Do I go to boost? Do I challenge the ball early here? Am I going to even make it to it if I do? And that's where it breaks down, is that quick decision making, right? You're making dozens, 100+ of those in just that overtime alone, especially playing at that pace. You can't really expect, you have to expect it to happen eventually, right? Some sort of slip up in that regard, but new game, same players, same sort of mental fatigue right now. And I think this series just keeps getting better.
Well, we virtually had 2 overtimes. We had an overtime in what should have been an overtime in game 1. Did end up with Butler scoring a no-second goal to win that game, but regardless, 2 one-goal games to start out this series. It's been very close. We expected it to be close, and so far it has been quite intense. And hey, it's our first series of the evening that doesn't end in 3 straight games. We'll get at least a game 4. But I am very back and forth on who I feel is ahead right now in the series. You want to give it to UConn because they have a little bit of momentum coming in from that overtime win. But at the same time, Butler has had their fair share of opportunities, and I don't think they feel like they've been the worst team so far in this series.
I think the biggest thing for me right now is UConn are getting a number of shots on goal. Granted, they're not doing too many things, and I feel like Butler's defensive rotations have been, significantly stronger. It's been a massive help for them in this game, but they also don't have the same number of shots. They're not putting really any shots on goal. compared to what UConn have done. That's going to be the real telling matchup is, can Butler last out long enough to allow themselves time to find those few shots that they need, and can they capitalize on them? Because you can be the best defensive team in the world, but if you never hit a shot on net, I can't tell you you're going to win. And right now, UConn's the only one actually attacking the net.
Well, Disaster actually picks up his own pass. Nobody interferes. I thought there was a touch from his teammate, but no, it's just a play off the corner wall for Disaster. Put the first on the board here for UConn, and they start game number 3 out on the right foot, trying to put themselves on match point. Kai in transition. Giggy out to Sir Aaron. It will be shut down by Droys. There's been 2 minutes gone. 1-0 game for UConn. We continue to play back and forth Rocket League. Possession continues to change hands. Great pass to Kai, but Droys read that one like a book. He was able to get in the way. A double demo, almost like it was scripted there by the Butler offense. Can Sir Aaron turn this around? Unfortunately not, and that double demo is just going to turn into nothing. Both players already back on the field.
He's got a pretty scary cross here. Chirp is going to be there for the save, and I like this for Butler. It's a little bit more aggression, but I will say the passing plays are relatively basic. We've seen a lot of different creative looks at the net from UConn, and, well, Butler, they may not need it if they can just fire some shots on net like this, but they still haven't managed to come up with one threatening enough to beat out UConn's defense, which, I mean, it's looked solid. They haven't really gotten scored on that much, but I don't think it's been tested really at all. They've been on the attacking side so often, and Butler have been shut down at the midfield or right about the three-quarter way so many times that I just want to see the UConn defense tested. I feel like it wouldn't stand up to a Butler attack, but Butler haven't gone on the attack.
And I think a large part of that does have to come down to, again, how the play has been at the midfield line. As that nearly snuck in, Sir Aaron will score it. And Butler catch UConn trying to transition a little bit too quickly. Sherpa, we talked about how great they've played in that third man role. Unfortunately, this time get caught, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, good pressure from Sir Aaron. I love the nurse, right? Just keeping it close and knocking the shot in nice and easy. You don't slam it in towards the net. There's no need to risk missing like that. You know, good tap in, good save by the teammate as well to keep their hands off of allowing the stats where they matter. And this is the exact same scenario as it was in the previous game. 1-1, tied up. Neither of these teams want to go to overtime, and certainly doesn't Jiggy, putting in a second and giving them a very solidified lead here. This is, I think, the most aggressive challenge we may have seen from Butler, and also the furthest we've seen a ball go uncontested from UConn into their own half.
Well, I mean, the stats kind of tell a different story than what we've actually seen on the field. And you look at UConn, and they've been playing pretty solid defense, but they really haven't been able to muster any shots. They've only got the one on the board that was the goal from Disaster a little bit earlier on. But Butler's been able to take 6 shots. They haven't had a ton of possession, but they've been able to turn what they have had into shooting chances. And that kind of has been the big difference here in this game, as Kai trying to play this down to Sir Aaron. Can't quite get that on goal. This will be a drop-down shot. Beautiful second of the game, and it's 3-1.
What has taken this team over? Where'd this come from, Hunted? Like, a bouncing shot, a bouncing cross straight away through the net. Jiggy's laying it down from all sorts of weird different angles. A huge lead for Butler relative to anything we've seen prior in the series. They've just stepped on the gas pedal massively, and that's something that we'll see time and time again between games. You know, okay, guys, you know, we got to get it together. We got to start playing at pace again. But Butler, in the middle of the game, like 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, have just said, all right, I guess it's time to apply the nitrous and see what happens. And, oh, my God, it's working beautifully.
And, again, like I said, they haven't had a ton of possession, but the ball possession they have had, they've turned into dangerous opportunities, which I can't really say the same for UConn as time is ticking away. 25 to go. The orange side desperately looking for 2 goals, trying to send us to another overtime.
Oh, no.
Great dunk by Sir Aaron. That's just going to fall in, and this will certainly be a Butler series lead as we head to Game 4.
That's a really comfortable one, and we talked after Game 2 about how, UConn, they won in overtime. They're going to be coming in with a bit of momentum, which is always nice. it's not like that much momentum. Both teams were playing at pace. Both teams were holding it down. One small mistake from Butler. I think their mental game is strong enough that that's not really going to be throwing them off. This, on the other hand, this is a whole other barrel of monkeys to be opening right now, and one that UConn are going to have to face for their mistakes.
Well, I certainly think this series has still been relatively close. This game broke open a little bit at the end. Butler able to find some good shooting opportunities towards the end of that game, but I still feel like UConn has been in it from the very beginning. And if you are UConn heading into Game 4, yeah, it's a 4-1 loss. But again, the beauty about Rocket League is that it doesn't matter what the score was in the previous game. It could be 11-0, but it's always going to be 5 minutes on the clock, 0-0 on the board for the next game. And UConn have to take this time that we have in between the match, settle themselves, and try to come out very similar to the way that they did in games 1 and 2. I still feel like they have a decent edge over Butler when they get into their offensive rotation. They just need to solidify it here.
Yeah, it's a matter of getting there. I think solidifying that midfield play that really fell off towards the end of the previous game. That's why they weren't tested deep into their own defensive side, is because their midfield play was so strong, locking in their attacking side, never really giving that possession over. Oh, it's a good fake, but it's not enough. Jiggy's going to regain possession, and it hasn't stopped at all for Butler. You can feel the confidence flowing through them. They're challenging everything they would, and that was optimistic from Sir Aaron, but he's actually gotten away with it. He's gotten back. He's made the rotation. Disaster's there, but Kai should be able to make the save. And 4:30 on the clock. This game is sped up a lot due to basically just Butler deciding that it would.
Well, you've got to be careful when you talk about confidence and overconfidence and how it can hurt a team, because, yeah, you can be confident, you can be feeling good, but if you play too quickly, you play a bit recklessly, you're going to get punished for it when you're playing against a team, especially an equal skilled team to you. And this series has been very close. I don't think there's any reason for Butler to be overconfident coming into this game. Yeah, 4-1 win, that's great, but you barely scraped by in the other games. And now you have to lay it all out on the line. 3:43 left to go. No score on the board. Kai looking to open up the scoring. Far post. Great shot. And Butler takes a 1-0 lead.
See, here's the thing with all this aggression. And I hope they don't get overconfident for their own sake. I hope they can keep this up because it looks fantastic. I don't think it's necessarily their best play. I think that they played better when they were playing their defensive style. It's just they were so evenly matched from UConn that, you don't really get to see it. And then you throw the gas pedal into the mix. You throw them stepping on it. And it's less about playing better, and it's more about throwing UConn a curveball that they haven't had to play into the entire series, and them struggling big time to adjust.
Well, we're going to have to see them make an adjustment. I definitely think something needs to change here for the team in orange if they want to try to come back. They're down a goal, can't drop this game if they want to win the series. As Kai, just off the post, little bouncer, got underneath the defender. Chirpa can't quite get the clear, but Droyz is there. The net not quite open. Sir Aaron able to make the play. Droyz now out of the corner, can't quite find the touch. This will be disaster, trying to make a play, using that ceiling. But Sir Aaron just able to play it away. And with half the game left to go, still 1-0 lead for this UConn squad, for this Butler squad. Kai trying to double that now, just a bit high. And we continue to play on. I still think that we are very back and forth, but UConn have had their struggles, not breaking into the zone, but keeping possession in the offensive zone. It's kind of been a role reversal here in this game.
Yeah, and UConn looks significantly less comfortable on the defense than Butler. They're fighting for every single ball, and it's been a struggle, but they've kept themselves afloat in this game, regardless of those things. That's a nasty bump on a Chirpa right now, especially with the low boost that he has. You can tell, he's just, it's easy targets for Jiggy. This guy's moving about 5 miles an hour. Dangerous touch, though, over top. Not much of an opportunity, though, for UConn because they lost that player earlier. Just sets up Sir Aaron. They need to be careful. This ball's up over the net. Chirpa has little to no boost right now, but it's just enough to get him on top of that ball.
Well, we're approaching the final 90 seconds. Butler hanging on to this 1-goal lead, trying to end the series in 4 if they can. UConn wanting another overtime here in the series. They'll play this out of their own corner, or out of the opposing corner. Kai now rotating around it. As Sir Aaron in transition. Disaster just going to play this at the top of the box. Sherpa quickly on it. UConn need to get some kind of offensive started. It's a good clear from Kai, but can't get by Disaster. Back wall, Sir Aaron, great read. Keep that one out of the hands of Droys for the moment. That's a dribbler out in front. Kai, no problems on the clear. And again, the possession just not there for UConn. They can't get anything going in the offensive side of the field. They've got 45 seconds. This will fall dangerously in front, but nobody's there. Kai just able to touch it away. And it looks like Butler, if they continue to play this way, they're just going to continue to waste all the time.
Yeah, Butler could just go back to how they played in game 1, and they will be feeling just fine. Right now's the time to play like you did in game 1. Just park the bus, ride the game out, take this 1 goal, and take it to the bank. And it's going to be your best opportunity. They're still fishing for a second, though. They're feeling real confident in themselves. And I mean, we talked about overconfidence earlier. If a goal goes in, we know exactly why it happened, right? It's Butler moving too far forward, but Jiggy's got another opportunity to try and seal this game out with 5 seconds on the clock. Surin's laying into the corner. This is almost inevitably the entire clock gone. They've got to keep the ball up from here, but it's right back into their own goal. Return to center from UConn, and it's Butler taking the series 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1 series win for Butler. Not without effort from UConn. A very, very close series. Game ends on an unfortunate own goal, but that's going to be it for this one. And well played again to both sides. I really think if we played this series, 5 more times, you'd probably end up 3-3 with how close it was between these teams. I think Butler kind of came out ahead when you looked at the overtimes. But UConn, definitely a team to keep your eye on as the series progresses, even though they dropped this one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the biggest strength that Butler had was their adaptation. And it was something that we didn't see game 1, we didn't see it game 2, we saw it a little bit at the end of game 3 when they started to speed things up, but it really hit me in game 4 when UConn were already struggling to deal with just the pace increase from Butler and them taking charge of the game rather than just kind of riding it out. And then right as UConn managed to finally get a little hold on things, the demos came out. And that was what did it, right? All the rotations got thrown off. All of those adjustments that UConn had made just right down the drain because those demos started coming in. It's those proactive changes from Butler that I think really made the difference and make them a very, very threatening team, I think, to go up against for pretty much anybody. And you know what? Huge congrats to them. They earned that series 3-1. It was hard fought, and Connecticut, I know they got great stuff ahead. There's another match that's great up ahead, though. It's DePaul versus St. John's University in a few minutes. You guys stay tuned to catch that one.